Hey again YouTube, Nutjob with a machete back with another review for you. First, I apologize, I've got the furnace going in the garage because it's cold in here. Yeah, it's about 10 degrees below 0 Celsius outside, so yeah, it's just cold enough that the garage is nippy. But I want to show you something. You may recall in the CBT video, which, go check my playlist, it's in there, that I mentioned that I had 2 breaching tools, breaching tomahawks. Well, this is the second one. This one was actually a gift, Christmas present from Mander, and it is the Kershaw Siege. It is similar and different to the CBT. So, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Similar overall construction, it's stainless steel. I'll put the specs and everything down below so I don't have to repeat them. One piece, full tang construction, very, very hefty. They didn't actually take off much extra material on this. Nice, big axe face on this. I actually like this axe face quite a bit. It has a lot of power when it chops, which is really, really nice. A little cutout, which I would think this is really just to reduce the weight, but you can also, if you need to, get it around fixtures, wrenches, anything like that. Anything that will fit in here if you need the extra torque to open them up. It's not quite like a gas shut-off wrench, but it does work for a few items like water valves, so on and so forth. So that is kind of nice. Might not have been the intended purpose, but it worked. So it kind of marred up the brass a little bit, but whatever, I don't care. And essentially it's a breaching spike. I mean, it does have no real edge, so it's all spike, and it works. But what you can do, of course, is you could always strike a ferrule off of, I wouldn't say the top, I would say the bottom. It's a little better of a scraping surface if you wanted to. They've chamfered up here, so it's comfortable if you need to grip it for what's down here. Now, there is a little issue with the pry bar that they've got on here. I mentioned they didn't take off a lot of material. Well, as you can see here, that's pretty damn chunky. And it really does show in the test that this could be thinner. I also wouldn't mind it. You'll see this rubberized handle, it actually is fairly comfortable. It negates most of the shock. I mean, you're going to feel shock in the CBT because it's full tang construction and you feel it. You're chopping, you're hacking into stuff. But I kind of wish that this handle didn't start until about here. The reason for that is you don't get a lot of leverage with only about 1.5 inches of the steel. On top of that, with it being so thick, it's harder to get, deep and pry. That can be fixed, and I might just do that by filing down this so it's more like your average pry bar, like a gooseneck or just a nail puller or something like that. Make it a little bit easier to use. Let me know if you want to see that. Maybe I'll put it as part of like a side-by-side or something like that. But that's the only real problem with this end. It has sharp edge right here, so you can use this as a wire stripper, you can use it as a nail puller. It actually works fairly well overall. I do like having that big head. It does mean that it has a lot more oomph. Also means it's a bit heavier. This one would be my axe, the CBT would be like Nikki's axe. This is better for someone who's a little bit bigger. That said, it's actually quite powerful. I won't do the preview of the battle stool again. If you want to see that, go watch the CBT's review. But this one, I will show you how it worked on the battle stool. So let's go to that. try by hand with this side. Well, I mean, as you saw, this thing in the plywood chopping, no problem. OSB is the better, the more resistant material to like a breach, at least in this kind of scenario, because it's not, you know, like there's no grain or anything like that. It's oriented strand or board. Anyways, you saw that the spike did have a little issue at the beginning. It doesn't dig in as well because it is quite thick. It's as thick as, you know, the rest of it. But a couple of whacks and you can easily get in there. Now, you saw prying. I had a little bit of issues, so I had to go to the rubber mallet because the blunt edge of this. That's my main concern. You know, if you got to use this to pry, you might have to use, you know, a hammer, rock, something, and whack it in and pry. So that's one thing. But as you saw, I can put the spike in and pry with that a little bit, or you can put the axe head in and pry with that. This thing is actually tough enough to do that. So yeah, it's actually kind of impressive. Now, one thing that I did with this, that I did with the CBT, but actually managed to get, you know, on camera, is glass breaking. Sheet of tempered glass. It's a glass cutting board. It's about the same thickness as there's a car right here. Car window. It's slightly thicker than, and now it's quiet. It's slightly thicker than glass windows on a house. So if you need to breach a house, well, let's show you what happened. Now, it's probably going to be the only time. I bought two of those things for like $6. And truthfully, right after I did that, I spent almost an hour and a half going through this entire place, just making sure that there's no glass, because of course it's the garage and there's the car and da-da-da-da-da. So it's messy. It's really, really messy. And that garbage bag only collected like 30% of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. It might not happen again, unless I find a better way to do this. Bigger box around the breech box, I don't know. Put your suggestions down below. Anyways, on top of all that, of course, I wanted to see whether or not this could come with me, you know, not necessarily as a camp axe, but like I said, in the CBT, you know, you've gotten what you need in an urban environment, and now you're moving on, or say you need to process lumber, you're hunkered down, something along those lines, and you need to chop up wood, pallets, anything like that. Well, this is how it does. I think honestly that because of the extra weight and this nice axe face on it, it actually chops, splits for sure, a little bit easier than the CBT. But there is one thing that does come across as a little cheap, and that is this is the sheath for it. It is a simple belt sheath. It's actually really, really tight and really small. Like, it's a dress belt that'll fit through here, maybe. No gun belts, nothing like that. So, you know, if this was part of your battle rattle, you know, get a molly strip and attach it to your bag or something. But one thing I do like, now, I'm not a fan of when the axe has to come down from the top or anything like that. Normally, though, you have to go all the way so that the mask or the sheath goes all the way through the handle. As you saw with this one, it does have a nice little feature where this is cut out. You know, you got it snapped in place and it's on your dress belt or your canvas belt, something like that. You know, covered, safe. You need to get it out. You pull up, just twist, and it'll come out. You don't have to fight with it as much. But yeah, the covers, you know, nylon, plastic, a couple of buckles. That's about it. Nothing really to write home about, right? But I think the axe is actually pretty impressive. I sharpened it before all the tests, and let's see. This actually ended up with a really nice edge, with very little work. And, you know, it's actually still retained most of the, I'm not going to say razor, but most of the really sharp edge. And you can hear that. So, yeah, I actually do really enjoy this. It was a great Christmas present for sure. And it's definitely a useful tool. I do think I might modify it and just, you know, make this look a little bit more like regular, brain not want to work, pry bars, so that I can use it a little bit better. And maybe at the same time, you know, maybe I'll cut off this rubber piece, take off this bit, drill a hole, and, you know, have my handle start up here rather than down here. This does give you better leverage, but, you know, sacrificing a 1/4 inch for better prying, maybe? Who knows? Anyways, we'll see whether or not, you know, that's something I want to do. Yeah, I mean, good product overall. I mean, Kershaw really did a good job. I didn't mention the serial number. It's 1073. So, you know, if you wanted this, I think it was about, all told with shipping and everything from Warriors and Wonders, I think it was about $80, $85, something like that. It starts out at about 60 to 65, so it's actually reasonable, especially for getting, you know, such a hefty and actually pretty tough tool. I think you probably could use it in a self-defense tactical situation. Obviously, this beak is fairly strong. I tapped this on the tempered glass first, but I didn't want to break with this time. I just wanted to chop with this, so yeah. But anyways, thanks so much for watching this video. If you like videos like this, feel free to click like, feel free to subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and as always, feel free to share this video as much as you want. And until next time, I'm Not Job with Machete with a pretty good breaching tomahawk. Stay sharp.